CaitlinClark, they scored a layup, and then she pulls up from logo, from where the 22 is, basically. She fills up every arena. Most of the internet, though, clipped out Angel Reese pushing the Fever Girl in the back.
Pat McAfee didn't hesitate for a moment.
She was like the villain.
Here's a clip that everybody was fake upset about.
That's not a bad foul. No, CaitlinClark not finna fight, bro. It's turning their shit up, though. It's just some internet shit, bro. It's just bringing attention to these.
He ripped into Angel Reese with the unrepentant fire that only McAfee could offer as soon as CaitlinClark lit up the Chicago sky.
Angel Reese has a little bit of a push-off on an offensive board. Obviously, she's great at getting rebounds. Incredible underneath. CaitlinClark says, what the hell is that?
Come on!
CaitlinClark says, what the hell is that, to the ref? And then she says, and most basketball people say, that's a take foul. Angel was pissed off, thought it was a flagrant. Afterwards, everybody said, it was a take foul, it was a take foul.
As the internet frantically attempted to rewrite the story, McAfee broke through the clutter to reveal the full extent of the phony indignation and the literary gimmicks used to portray Clark as the antagonist.
This is the generational, multi-generational player.
CaitlinClark is phenomenal. She is somebody like we have never seen before.
You guys are lucky you have CaitlinClark. You are lucky you have the Indiana Fever.
However, the scoreboard was honest. Angel Reese was unmasked when CaitlinClark made history by silencing a crowded arena with a brutal triple-double.
She is already top 3 in triple doubles in the history of the WNBA too.
Get the stats about her and her 20 points and 10 assist games and the triple doubles and all that.
What came next was a reckoning, not merely a review of the game. From the first whistle, it was evident that Chicago had no answers, and CaitlinClark did more than merely win.
Watching CaitlinClark play, electrifying.
Yes.
Absolutely. She will pull. She will pull that shit up. She will shake, sidestep, step back, not scared. And then she'll do like a no-look pass, full court passes.
She began by making precise passes to cut through opponents before pulling up from the logo as if it were a free shot. Angel Reese, who entered with a chip on her shoulder, was left chasing shadows while the Chicago sky appeared astonished.
Angel overreact. Yeah, probably it was a hard foul. It is what it is. They squashed it after the game and you moved on. But yeah, all the think pieces and everything after the first game.
So where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun? Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with CaitlinClark and Angel Reese.
Clark's incredible triple-double of 20 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds before the final buzzer made it appear effortless. This wasn't simply a night of personal stats, though. It was a 30-point victory that rocked the league.
CaitlinClark, 41 games played. It was very obvious whenever she was in college that she was different. Gets drafted to the Fever, and what she has done for this city and for this team is unbelievable.
Angel Reese attempted to assume her typical role as the tone setter and physical enforcer, but Clark made her appear unimportant as he orchestrated like a seasoned veteran. Reese has trouble starting anything.
She hates her. This is why she did that. Shut up.
Do that, bro.
Caitlin hate her?
He said like she hates her. No, they don't hate each other. That's a basketball play.
The media is doing that so much, it's really gonna make Angel be on that when she see her, bro.
But it's turning their shit up, though.
This night marked CaitlinClark's formal transition from rookie wonder to certified WNBA superstar. She committed a take foul that set off a violent scene, but even it couldn't halt Clark's momentum. The fans erupted and the cameras were all on number 22.
She's great for the sport. She's great for the game. There's a lot of adult males who are fans and go into it, but you got a lot of little girls that are coming out watching their hero play, and she's selling out every arena. It's great for the sport.
Yeah, she's the most popular women's athlete on the planet. Her style of play, shooting the deep threes, the passes that she has, like she's probably the best college scorer, men's or women's, when it comes to wire to wire as far as a career goes.
Being the co-star in a game that became Clark's highlight reel was the worst case scenario for Angel Reese. Then came the moment that turned the internet upside down. A hard foul, a push, and a story that was twisted in real time. The arena buzzed. every time she touched the ball, and it felt like a movie.
Let's talk about CaitlinClark's hard foul. Angel Reese gets the ball. CaitlinClark goes over, does a hard foul, commits a hard foul on Angel Reese.
CaitlinClark stopped an easy transition by doing what any top competitor would do when Angel Reese grabbed the ball. Buck physically and firmly fouled her, adhering to all game rules.
This is another year and another case of WNBA referees not making the right calls when it comes to CaitlinClark. If the referees do not get this whole situation together with this CaitlinClark thing, fans is finna stop watching this sport.
However, the subsequent events were entirely related to selective anger and had nothing to do with basketball. The video barely got viral for half of it.
And it's bad because everybody is using this for their own narrative. Like, you got a lot of fans that are definitely racist that use CaitlinClark to hide the fact that they're racist.
Viewers were shown they didn't witness Caitlin fouling Angel because just seconds before, Angel Reese had pushed a Fever player in the back, and that part mysteriously vanished. That's when Pat McAfee entered the scene, and he didn't hold back when he said his mind.
This is the generational, multi-generational player.
CaitlinClark voted on by general managers, the best point guard, the best shooting guard, and the singular player they would start the franchise with.
He criticized the media's spin job in real time, pointing out the dishonesty. He claimed that instead of showing Angel Reese pushing the Fever girl, they only showed Caitlin's foul, making her appear to be the antagonist in one tirade. McAfee did what many others refused to do. He spoke the truth and revealed the motivations behind the viral outcry, the double standards, and the performative rage directed at Clark for doing what any great player would do.
CaitlinClark, generational talent. She's the one. They put the team around her right now.
She is the one. This is the golden goose. This is the one.
CaitlinClark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage. CaitlinClark is the most important player in the WNBA.
CaitlinClark knows what's coming. CaitlinClark rises up and is the star.
And let's be clear, McAfee wasn't arbitrarily taking sides. Rather, it was a reaction to a developing trend in which Clark gets hit, shoved, and fouled. But the instant she objects or responds, it makes headlines.
It is a balance, but she's a generational talent. No league's ever about one player, but in this case, Caitlin brought tens of millions of new viewers into the W, and there's no denying that impact. But again, you do want to balance it because obviously you saw what happened with Juju Watkins, getting hurt. You want to balance making sure that you're also promoting your other stars like an Asia Wilson, like a Brianna Stewart. Nafisa Collier killed it last year. I mean, she was the runner-up, MVP, and the Defensive Player of the Year.
I loved her.
This year, sustain the momentum we had last year and gain even new view.
Although he didn't have to say it directly, McAfee turned up the heat by mocking the stage drama and pointing out how quickly some were using narratives against Clark. He did this by pointing to the silence from last year when Angel Reese was slammed to the ground by Alyssa Thomas. Almost no one blinked. There were no think pieces, no outrage, and no calls for suspension. Why was the reaction so different now?
Where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun? Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with CaitlinClark and Angel Reese. You guys remember last year when Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against CaitlinClark? You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her, you get her. Who celebrates like that for a flagrant foul on another player if they don't dislike that player? Okay, you want some more evidence? Here's some more evidence. Remember last year when they were talking about who gets the credit for the expansion and the eyeballs and the popularity boost of women's basketball? Not just the WNBA, but women's basketball in general, because of the spike in the women's NCAA tournament and in WNBA viewership. A lot of people were attributing that to CaitlinClark, and rightfully so. This is what Angel Reese had to say, and I quote, "People are talking about women's basketball. You never would think they'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to the games. We got celebrities coming to the games, sold out arenas just because of one single game. Just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on to be that for my teammates. I know I'll go down in history. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, the reason we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too. I want y'all to realize that. Now, I heard a lot of people say that I or others have made Angel Reese the villain. Did you not just hear herself call herself the bad guy? She called herself the villain. I'm not making her the villain. She's making herself the villain.
While others were preoccupied analyzing body language and foul intensity, he wasn't wrong. They're trying to change the narrative, but CaitlinClark just made history with a triple-double. You can't hide that behind Fury. Unquestionably, Clark was changing the record books and packing arenas. The game attracted 2.5 million viewers, reaching a peak of 3.1 million, making it the most watched WNBA game in ESPN history.
This is not only the best point guard in the league, this is an MVP candidate, and this is a contender for the best player in the world.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to CaitlinClark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
Caitlin has always been an underrated athlete. She's the fastest player in the league to me with the ball in her hands, and she was the best guard finishing around the rim last year.
McAfee understood that this was more than simply a rookie having a nice night. It was a superstar changing the league in real time, and all the hoopla in the media was merely an attempt to prevent change. McAfee made sure everyone understood that CaitlinClark wasn't just boosting her team, she was upending the entire WNBA system. However, he didn't stop there. He turned the focus on Angel Reese, acknowledging that she is a major contributor to the popularity of women's basketball. He did this in a respectful but direct manner, but he didn't let her off the hook. He pointed out her tendency to overreact, her history of playing the victim when things don't go her way, and the selective memory of her previous remarks, such as when she publicly embraced the bad guy label or celebrated Kennedy Carter's egregious foul against Clark.
People are going to make it into something bigger than it needs to be. They're going to make this rivalry come back, this manufactured rivalry.
CaitlinClark versus Angel Reese is not a rivalry. This is absolutely a rivalry. These are people with contempt for each other.
In one of his most scathing comments, McAfee stated what many fans had been thinking, but no one had the courage to say. If you're still doubting CaitlinClark, you're either not paying attention or you've got an agenda. He made it clear that this isn't about who's louder on social media, but rather about who's delivering between the lines, and CaitlinClark does it every single night. It was a reality check as much as a roast.
CaitlinClark out of the WNBA and her team, it's not the same. She's packing now larger arenas. She's taking and making shots nobody's ever done in the history of the sport. She is Steph Curry.
Pat McAfee reminded everyone that basketball isn't a hoax by using his platform to cut through debate rather than incite it. Both the fans and the figures are honest. The record-breaking ratings and the stadia filled to capacity, that's Caitlin. Clark, and no amount of spin can change the fact that her contributions to the WNBA go far beyond box office results.
Angel Reese is not one of the best players in the WNBA. I think we can all be honest with that. But CaitlinClark is one of the best players in the WNBA.
It's not just about numbers. She's packing arenas, forcing cities to upgrade venues, and breaking viewership records like the 3.1 million peak for the Fever vs. Sky game. In just over 40 games, she's already tied legends like Candace Parker in triple doubles, which is an unprecedented feat for a rookie. General managers are also aware of it. In an anonymous survey, they chose Clark as the best shooting guard and point guard, and the guy they would base a franchise on. This isn't just media hype. The league's top decision maker believes Clark is the player of the future.
CaitlinClark, I've been noticing, I've been following her career since she was a sophomore at Iowa, and I recognize how different she was, how different she played the game. I used to tell all my colleagues who are not into women's basketball, I say, hey man, you got to check out this girl at Iowa, man. She shoots from the logo. She shoots from almost half court. She's different. And men who travel with us in our traveling party who are basically anti-women's basketball, just didn't care for it, didn't want to talk about it, had no interest in it at all. All of a sudden, they started watching CaitlinClark and got intrigued by her, and they became fans of her and her game. She needs a Jeep endorsement, a commercial, because Jeep is an acronym that I've come up with of the way she has been treated and not welcomed into the WNBA. Jeep, the acronym is JEEP. And that stands for jealousy, envy, egos, and pettiness.
While others create drama, Clark remains locked in, even when fouled hard, and offers a hand to help up her rival. This is the difference between her and Angel Reese, who may embrace the villain role, but Clark plays like a calm assassin, step back threes from the logo, and make full court passes look effortless.
So she hates that part of it and what she sees CaitlinClark representing.
Yeah,
I don't think she hates CaitlinClark.
I think she just hates the fact that she doesn't have the spotlight.
You're nothing without CaitlinClark.
I know what hatred looks like. Angel Reese hates CaitlinClark. Not some basketball rivalry hate either. Hate.
The Steph Curry comparison isn't merely a compliment. It's a warning that a new era is upon us, and Clark is spearheading it. She's not just boosting Indiana fever, she's boosting the league as a whole. CaitlinClark didn't ask for the attention. She earned it every night. She not only provides statistics, but also a level of skill and leadership that the WNBA has never seen at this early stage.
This is what a sellout looks like. 17,274 fans, and it was fully sold out. It was packed.
I'm looking at CaitlinClark make an announcement today that it's over. The BS, denying her place in the game. She's going to rewrite and shatter the record books. She could easily average a triple-double.
While some promote false myths, Clark simply continues popping up and shutting everything down with her game, editing video, and stirring up drama.
This is an unfair narrative that's going to be attached to CaitlinClark. People come out here and get spanked. They're just going to cry and throw their hands up about racism. It's like, no, this is not racism. This is basketball. This is one team busting another team's ass. This is a white player in CaitlinClark who largely always says the right thing, who is largely inoffensive.
In an attempt to keep the audience aware of the fact that Clark is the real deal, Angel Reese was revealed by Pat McAfee, who saw through the commotion.
It's unbelievable. This is another view right here of Angel just really dropping F-bombs. I think she says, you're effing crazy, something like that, blah, blah, blah. You crazy as F. What the F is wrong with you?
Aaliyah Boston steps in and stops Angel Reese.
The league cannot deny it, and the stats show that this is a takeover rather than simply a rivalry. If you support CaitlinClark, please leave a remark below. The future is here, and her name is already inscribed in WNBA history.
Love it, that's for sure.
Rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, you guys love it, that's for sure. But I told Michael this yesterday. I was like, rivalry is great for sport. Like, I understand that. I grew up loving rivalries. Like, I grew up in Iowa State. That's like a pro matchup in the state of Iowa. Like, I understand that. Or whether it was my high school team, like, I still hate a rival high school, Valley High School. Sorry, I'm sure there's a lot of people from Valley High School that love me and support me now. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys, but I wasn't your biggest fan. I didn't like the Tigers growing up. So my parents, my grandfather was the football coach growing up, and Valley was our biggest rival. It was the biggest class in Iowa. And I was taught to, growing up, if we were driving by the high school, to hold my breath because I couldn't breathe that air. Like, I know it's kind of funny, but like, rivalry is always a big thing. So I think it's more than anything, like, as a player, you approach the game the same every single time, or you should. That's how you should approach every single game. You prepare the same way. You come ready to play, whether it's the team that's last in the league or the team that's first in the league. It doesn't matter. I think for the fans, it's great. They love it. And I mean, Chicago is the closest team to us. You know, we bust there usually, so I get it geographically. But I think for our team and our group, it's, you know, we prepare the same way every single game. But I expect today to be an awesome game.
Where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun? Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with CaitlinClark and Angel Reese. You guys remember last year when Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against CaitlinClark? You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her, you get her. Who celebrates like that for a flagrant foul on another player if they don't dislike that player? Okay, you want some more evidence? Here's some more evidence. Remember last year when they were talking about who gets the credit for the expansion and the eyeballs and the popularity boost of women's basketball? Not just the WNBA, but women's basketball in general, because of the spike in the women's NCAA tournament and WNBA viewership. A lot of people were attributing that to CaitlinClark, and rightfully so. This is what Angel Reese had to say, and I quote, "People are talking about women's basketball. You never would think they'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to the games. We got celebrities coming to the games, sold out arenas just because of one single game. Just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on to be that for my teammates. I know I'll go down in history. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, the reason we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too. I want y'all to realize that." Now, I heard a lot of people say that I or others have made Angel Reese the villain. Did you not just hear herself call herself the bad guy? She called herself the villain. I'm not making her the villain. She's making herself the villain.